Hi everybody. I hope for those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving had an enjoyable one with family and friends. Um, when I was at my Thanksgiving, and a lot of times when I'm at family events, since I've started health coaching, a lot of people are, that's excellent, I'm glad you're doing it. A lot of people need help with their health, but almost all of them say, I don't think I'd be a good candidate for your health coaching programs because I like to eat too much, or I couldn't give up X, Y, and Z. So one thing I wanted to kind of clear up about what I do as a health coach is I will never tell you to give up any type of food. I won't ever force you to do that. I won't stick you on a specific rigid diet or exercise plan. And most people are kind of shocked when they hear that. So what I'm going to share with you today is a couple of the health coaching kind of tricks I use and tips I use to help people improve their health without giving up some of their favorite foods. So one example is just adding in good things. So when my kids are at Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter and we're at family events, usually there are just tons of amazing desserts and cookies and sugar everywhere. So, I let them have the cookies and the cakes and the sugar that they want. My only stipulation is for each dessert item that you go back and grab, whether it's seconds, thirds, fourths, whatever, you have to have a small plateful of vegetables. Is usually we're lucky that we have some raw vegetable options at almost all of ours. So it's like, okay, you can have your sugary fun dessert, but I also want you to have some good stuff as well. And it's kind of interesting to find that, once you are eating more of the good stuff, some of that sweet stuff doesn't sound quite as good, or you're satisfied with much less of the sweet stuff. So that's one way. I help my clients still eat the things that they want, but, improve their health at the same time. A second way I like to help people is to get them to upgrade. I am a big proponent of clean eating, sustainable eating. If at all possible, go directly to your local farmer to get your animal products and your produce, whenever that option's available. I just think, clean, as close to nature as possible, as close to the source as possible, is where we find our best nutrition and our most satisfying food, really. So when I talk about upgrading, I teach people about reading nutrition labels, and I have some certain steps to do that, and they may be a little different than most people hear about. My focus when looking at labels is a little bit different. So reading nutrition labels so you can find a little bit higher quality packaged food. It's still packaged food, still processed food, but you can find better options. Another way to upgrade, and I think it's a really important skill, and I've touched on this before, but I think cooking and baking at home is such a huge benefit. Health-wise, it's a really great skill that everybody should have. And when you bake and cook at home, you can have total control over what is going into the food you're preparing. You're avoiding any additives, preservatives, artificial colors, those kind of funky things, the artificial and even the natural flavoring that are in foods. You can totally avoid those because those are things you really typically don't have in your kitchen. So home cooking, home baking, you're definitely going to get a better product if you do it from scratch, So that's another thing I like to help people do. I have a spot on Facebook where I have a lot of sample recipes. I am happy and enjoy going into people's homes and bringing some sample things, sample recipes we can try. So that's another really good way to improve your health, but you can still have your favorite foods. Yeah, I mean, you can make You can make pizzas. We do a lot of homemade pizzas at our house. You can make baked goods. There's a lot of great, I'm actually going to do a talk in about 2 weeks at our local library, and I'm going to bring in and demo a couple ways that you can do some sweet treats that are a little more paleo friendly. So using some alternatives to refined sugar, and that's a great way to get some sweet treats, and they're typically more satisfying and definitely a little bit healthier for you. So those are some really good options. The fourth one that I tell people, and this one most people kind of find interesting, actually I was with my sister and I used the example of, if you're going to eat an Oreo, be one with the Oreo. And it just kind of turned into a joke, but what I mean by that is if you are going to choose to eat something, it could be your favorite food from childhood, but it's horrible for you and, zero nutritional value, just loaded full of sugar and junk, that's fine. You can eat that, but do it consciously and really savor it. Don't shovel down a whole, tube full of Ritz crackers or a whole, section of Oreos. Take one and just really enjoy it. Take a bite, chew it, taste it. And, that's a way you can still have your favorite foods, but, consciously eat them. And that also goes a long way to helping you improve your health, but not being restricted with a particular diet, because that is no fun. I've done that. Deprivation, punishment, they don't work. Building awareness and mindfulness, however, does work. So those are some of my tips for the day. Hopefully you found them helpful, and if any of you are in my area, I'd love to see you at some of my talks coming up. One of them will be December 14th, January 4th, and January 18th, and they'll all be at our public library. So I hope to see you guys then, and have a great day.